Welcome to Brett Ridgway's Learning for Life. This is Lesson 3, Part 3 of learning a tune from scratch. And actually, that is the series, and the song we're working on is She'll Be Coming Around the Mountain. And I purposely played it at the beginning. I don't always do that. I purposely did it at the beginning because I want to show you it can be done. Because when we break this down, and what we're going to be talking about today is playing it on the bass string, it's going to be much more complicated and confusing. Not that it's hard, but more complicated and confusing than when we switched on Boil Them Cabbages, because we're just on the same string. So it's not really hard at all. We're just switching to the other side. But this tune starts on the middle string. Now, in our very first lesson, we taught you to play the scale. Just 2 weeks ago, we talked about, we continued that up in 2 octaves. And then I taught you the first phrase of She'll Be Coming Around the Mountain with tips and helps how to do that. And then I encouraged you to try to pick out the rest of the tune by yourself. And hopefully you tried it. By the way, whether you did it or not, whether you accomplished it or not, does not matter. Whether you tried does matter. So if you tried but you couldn't figure it out, doesn't matter. But I want you to try, because trying, you're learning your instrument, not just playing a tune, not just, and it takes work. And then I encouraged you to take things like Mary Had a Little Lamb, Three Blind Mice, and to try to pick out those melodies as well. And then if you didn't figure it out anyhow, whether you did or not, I taught you the rest of the basic melody. You want to make sure that melody is learned, because we're building on that foundation of the basic melody. If the foundation is not firm, if the foundation is not solid, then as we build on it, nothing is going to be firm or solid above that. You need to have that firm foundation of knowing the melody. Last week, we added chords to every note of the tune. We did that by assigning a chord to a fret number, 4, 5, 3, etc. So we played it that way, and then we taught it where you might play it. If you were flat picking it and you would just throw in the chords, you wouldn't play chords for everything. And then I encouraged you to do that with songs like Mary Had a Little Lamb, Three Blind Mice, etc. And again, I hope you did that as well. So today we're going to talk about playing on the bass string. And I said the problem is we're starting on the middle. Now, I'm going to show it to you just very, very basic the first time through. Because once you start strumming, once you start throwing chords in, it's going to get even more confusing. And again, if you're doing this, if you were doing this in tab, you'd have no problem with this. But if you're doing it in tab, you're not really learning anything. So you're starting on that middle string. And when we played it on the melody, we went to the melody string. We have to go to the bass string. Now, it is the same, it's the correct note, but it's an octave lower. So if you were singing that, dun, 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 you're going dun, dun, dun. But now, what we're having to do is go down, which can be confusing. So let's just do the first phrase. Again. So what I want you to do, if you just have to look what I'm doing to memorize it, that's fine. Because you need to get that first phrase down. Sorry. And by the way, I hit that note accidentally. Now, I already played it through for you. I did it without thinking. When I'm sitting here thinking, because that's a lower octave, it actually confuses me, and I was looking for a higher note. So let's do it again. Make sure that's memorized. Your second phrase is easy. right? you should have that memorized from the melody string. There's no difference. Then we're going to play now. Did that throw you? And here's where, I'll be honest, this is where it threw me, because I'm thinking of a higher note. We have to go to that lower note again. So again. So I think you see what I'm referring to as far as it being a little bit more confusing. But once you get this all down and you're not thinking about it, just like I played at the beginning, you'll be able to play it all the way through. All right. And it's when I'm sitting here just trying to think what to do that it messes me up. And here's our last phrase. And then you come to the middle string at 2, and then back to the bass. So learn that much. Now, we are going to go just a little bit farther right here. And we're going to play, I'm going to show you how to make it sound a little bit better. When we make this first note, when we talked about the chords, we said that if you're on that middle string at 1, there's a chance you could make an inverted G. So I'm going to just strum out from the 2 outside strings. And because you're hitting this bass string in the G, it doesn't sound quite as extreme. Now, instead of playing this middle string here at 2, you could play, you could either play 1, 2, 1, or just 2, 1, and pick out from the center string. So, now, the idea is not to necessarily play it all here and all there. In other words, melody bass, is you can mix that up. So, it's not a long lesson, but man, there's a lot to work on here, and you really want to work on playing it on the bass and figuring out to hit the lower octave, because that's what you have to do. But then, and again, this can take you weeks to jump back and forth between the two. So I do hope this has helped. Please stick with this. I hope you're enjoying this. This is, by the way, this is because of my patrons, because those who are giving to make these lessons possible. I can't do it without their help. It's much needed, especially at this time with everything going on. So if you could become a patron, it'd be greatly, greatly appreciated. But thank you to those who are giving, to those who are sharing these videos, those who are recommending me, who's helping me get the lessons out there. Again, free of charge, 24/7 library for your use. So thank you, patrons. We'll see you all on your very next lesson. Thanks for watching.